So relations between the United States and Europe look increasingly strained as a result of a new phone hacking crisis. It's now been revealed 35 European leaders may have had their phones tapped by America's National Security Agency. Most prominent among them, Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel. We'll be live in Washington, D.C. for reaction in a moment. But first, Tim Friend sent this report from Brussels.
EU leaders head for home this weekend, all of them more nervous of using their mobile phones following the US spying revelations. They issued a strong, final, unanimous statement expressing deep concern about US surveillance activities and saying that breach of trust could jeopardize future cooperation. More details keep emerging. The latest from the French leading newspaper Le Monde, with a suggestion that the US penetrated the French president's computer system in 2012. And in London, The Guardian said that the National Security Agency had trawled for the private numbers of 35 world leaders. Europe now wants talks with Washington to resolve the issue before the end of the year.
We said
that France and Germany, not as Germany plus France, but each country individually, will get in touch with the US and try to work out a framework. Obviously, we will also have an exchange on how this should play out.
A lot is at stake here. The United States and the European Union are currently negotiating a big free trade agreement. But the President of the European Parliament from Germany's opposition party has suggested that those talks should now be suspended. During the summit, the German Chancellor met French President François Hollande, whose country is another NSA target. Merkel says she wants a pact that would put limits on spying between the US and its European allies.
Together with Chancellor Merkel and with the European Council, we took an initiative. The purpose is to set a joint cooperation framework with the US so that we can put an end to these practices.
But for now, Washington is unapologetic.
We are not going to comment publicly on every specified alleged intelligence activity. And as a matter of policy, we have made clear that the United States gathers foreign intelligence of the type gathered by all nations.
Among EU leaders, there's now a lack of trust in the US, and that could damage future intelligence gathering. Tim Friend, Al Jazeera, Brussels.
And just a short time ago, the US State Department gave this response.
No one disputes the need for careful, thorough intelligence gathering. It's not a secret that we collect information about what is happening around the world to help protect our citizens, our allies, and our homeland. So does every intelligence service in the world. There are conversations that have been ongoing with a range of partners around the world about these activities, including over the past week or so. While our capabilities are unmatched, the U.S. government is not operating unrestrained. All three branches of government play a role in overseeing our intelligence activities.
Kimberly Halkett joins us live now from Washington, D.C. So just how concerned is the US administration by this anger that's being shown in Europe right now?
Well, if it's concerned, it's not showing it publicly. In fact, you heard there Jen Psaki from the State Department speaking, saying the U.S. has really done nothing wrong. It feels that it's doing something that all nations do, which is gather intelligence so it can be in the best and strongest position for any type of negotiation. And as for the calls from European leaders to hold talks by the end of the year on these spying allegations, well, she responded to that directly, saying that the United States is always open to discussing these issues as well as a wide range of issues with its European allies and European leaders. But at the same time, one thing that she did say that was rather striking is that she believes as a result of these disclosures that are coming out by Edward Snowden, the former NSA contractor, that in fact there will be even more allegations against the United States with regard to spying. So really it was kind of an interesting statement, basically not backing down and saying, yeah, there's a lot more to come.
I guess one of the key questions, Kimberly, is just how much Obama actually was aware of what was going on and whether he himself had sanctioned it.
Well, we know for a fact that President Obama is aware that this was going on to some extent because this was addressed, 1 month ago at the United Nations General Assembly. This time it was the Brazilian president, Dilma Rousseff, who spoke very strongly in her own speech to the Assembly, saying that, in fact, the U.S. was not only spying electronically, but also economically, and really chastising the United States for this and calling on the United Nations to put in place protections so that states would be able to respect the sovereignty as well as privacy of other nations. Well, President Obama responded to that directly, saying that right now there is a review underway. This is something that was touched on again in the State Department briefing just an hour or so ago, saying that there's now a panel in place that is looking at these allegations, is reviewing and trying to balance what the United States sees as valid security concerns with the concerns of other nations with regard to privacy. So this is something that is under review in the United States. We're told that there will be recommendations by the end of the year, but as to anything changing in the short term, it seems the U.S. has no intention of doing so.
Kimberly in Washington, thank you.